Welcome back to the Enfield Diaries.
Today we're going to take this drive shaft out because it's really tight between there and here, and I think it needs a sliding joint to take some of the pressure off the motor bearings. This rubber donut is likely to expand if I take any of these bolts off, so I've made this compressor clip to go around the outside. Hopefully I can now take these off, remove the spider, and this won't get out of sync, particularly as this is going to be off for a few days. So that's the drive shaft with the spider and the UJ at the axle end. I'm going to have a sliding joint put in here, I think. And this is the rubber donut that's mounted on the gear wheel, which is actually mounted on the shaft up there. It's actually held on purely and utterly by a couple of grub screws. And I don't know whether you can hear that knocking, but that's not going to help the noise either, is it? So that rattling noise is going to make a right din on the overdrive. So several things to try and solve. So here's the problem. The end of the motor has this spline which had a locking tab and a Allen key lock nut on the bottom here. You can see the damage, and the keyway went in the top one here. Unfortunately, the attachment to that is clearly a botch up. You can see this ring is clearly off something else. Here's the keyway, here's the locking Allen screw, and there's also a lock nut on here to lock that in place. So in reality, it's actually only attached to that shaft through that single keyway, and it's tiny. So we have a slight problem, and we're re-engineering a mess up from whoever converted this car. We've come today to Dave Mack's Propshafts to discuss having the Enfield shaft modified. I've been to the machine shop today and brought back the yoke, which has had a spline broached into the end. I have tried it on here, but the internal distance is slightly too small, so it's got to be machined out a bit more. I've been busy with the micrometer, and I've discovered that my shaft is 22.99 between the flats, and this is currently 20.98. So there's a difference of just over 2 millimeters. So I'm going to take it back to the workshop, and the chap is going to machine a millimeter off this internal surface here, and then it should fit absolutely beautifully. So I've been waiting about 9 weeks, but Dave Mack has now finished this nice shiny new prop shaft. It's all new. He decided in the end not to cut the original prop shaft up. The new prop shaft certainly looks the business. It's got a sliding joint in it. It's got the yoke, which we've already tried, but he's now machined, and it should be just ready to fit to the car. I'd never fitted the prop to the car as a complete unit until I started filming, and I was pleased that my measurements for the yoke this time did fit quite snugly, but more to the point, did fit in the first place. I did have to help the spline onto the motor shaft, as you can see, by just tapping it gently, but this went on quite nicely, and then I was able to reconnect the brand new UJ flange at the other end to the existing rear axle using the original bolts. The shaft fitted really snugly and nicely, and I was very pleased with the fit in general. So I've fitted this new prop shaft, which has an original style UJ at the back. It then has a sliding joint, and then at the other end we have this nice yoke which gets rid of that horrible gear, i.e. this bit of Heath Robinson equipment, as well as the rubber donut, and firmly connects to the motor via the spline that's at the end. I've used some M8 short bolts at the moment, but I need to get some proper Allen key grub screws. And we'll leave you with a sound of the car being driven along a road, much quieter than it was before with the new Propshaft. You'll notice that there's no rumble or rattling noise on the overrun as you brake or slow down. Neither is there a vicious rumbling as you go round particularly a right-hand corner. We do hope you liked what you'll see. Do like and subscribe, and we'll leave you with a good peaceful run of how an electric car should sound as it traverses the roads.